Welcome to the Living in Salida podcast, a podcast that offers insights into the charm and reality of living, working, and playing in the small mountain town of Salida, Colorado. I'm your host, Monica McCarthy, a realtor that specializes in buying and selling in the Salida, Colorado area. In addition to helping people buy and sell property here, I love connecting with the wonderful people of our community, learning about their experiences in our town, and sharing their little slices of life in Salida with you. Salida is a designated creative arts district and is known for having a robust art scene. In addition to having numerous art galleries in Salida, we have an amazing performing arts scene as well. And today we're chatting with one of the people who has contributed to the creative arts scene in Salida for many years, Jennifer Dempsey. Jennifer is a professional performer and the founder and former director of the Salida Circus Outreach Foundation, a program that offers circus training for personal development to youth and adults in the Chaffee County area. Before starting the Salida Circus in 2007, Jennifer spent nearly 20 years performing in circuses, including 12 years with the Belfast Community Circus in Northern Ireland. She's currently the Director of Colorado TINTS, which stands for Theater in Non-Traditional Spaces, which uses the platform of theater to bring original, underreported, or unknown stories to the public. I'm excited to talk to you about all of that fun stuff. Thank you for being here, Jennifer.
Well, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So I'm going to start where I start with everybody else is how did you get to Salida? Tell me your Salida origin story.
Okay, my Salida origin story. I arrived here on my 39th birthday.
Okay.
At like 11 p.m. and drove straight to Bongo Billy's, which is now Highside.
Okay.
So my mom and her husband had been living here for probably, I think, 6 years by that time.
Okay.
And I was in California running a circus company. And I was like having a come to Jesus moment about like, what am I going to do when I grow up?
Yeah.
I've been doing circus stuff for about 20 years by that point.
Yeah.
And I was like, is this what I'm going to do? What am I? La, 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 la.
Yeah.
And I just had to just clear the decks.
Okay.
Come to Salida, say like, okay, if you're allowed to run away from the circus if you want to now. But then within like a week, I started workshops in my backyard. So long story short, I came to visit my mom and her husband over the years.
Okay.
And decided to relocate here.
So so you visited a few times before you did that, the trip you were just talking about. Okay, so it wasn't just a whim and then you just never left.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So how many times did you visit before you decided
like
it was
4 or 5 times, you know, come for Christmas and, you know, my mom's birthday and stuff like that. And I was very intrigued by it. Like I was living in Orange County, California.
Pretty different.
Very different. Right? Yeah. Like the culture shock between Orange County and Salida was much bigger than between Belfast.
That's pretty funny. Whoa. That's saying something.
Right? And so when I came to Salida, I was like, okay, I could live here. And I also saw the creative potential.
Okay. Because what was going on? Because our creative district's been around for a while. What was how I guess prominent was it at that point?
You know, I wasn't really aware at the time. I would just come to visit my mom and be like, oh my gosh,
you weren't even sure.
I want to move to Mayberry. That's what I called Salida. I was like, I want to live here and where, you know, everybody knows everybody and like the mayor is like, you know, whatever, never mind.
Yeah, I know. Won't go in that direction today. That's fine.
We know what we're talking about. But anyway, so, and also being a social circus director, I knew there was like raw material here, i.e. kids.
Oh, okay.
And open space and a real tight community. And that's all I needed. That was like my business plan. I'm air quoting.
Your like recipe for
my recipe. I was like, oh, it has all the natural, you know, it has all the ingredients for the raw material to build a social circus.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's kind of how I ended up here. And I just basically like gave away my circus company in California. I let one of the other women take it over. And I came here with like literally like a pair of stilts and a bag of costumes for kids.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, like I said, I was giving myself the option to run away from the circus, but the universe said, nope, not yet.
And the circus followed you.
Circus followed me here. And like the next week, I like have kids in my backyard practicing tumbling, and when it was too cold, we'd go in my living room because I didn't have any furniture. And, you know, just that's literally, Andrea Mossman became my first acrobatics partner. But when I moved here, she was very pregnant. She was about to give birth in like 3 weeks. And I was like, well, have your kid and then come to my living room and practice acrobatics with me, which she did.
Oh, wow.
So by August, we were traveling on the road.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you started it in 2007. Is that the same year that you moved here?
I moved here
like
February
immediately
11th, 2007. And like March, I had a circus company.
So you don't mess around. So is it just word of mouth? I mean, how did you?
Yes.
Okay.
It was like very organic.
Okay.
Again, because I just wanted to build it up in my own pace, and I had a whopping $4,000 to my name. So I was like, I can do this, little by little. And because I had the raw material, i.e. children, and I had a bag of costumes, I was good to go.
Yeah, you didn't need to buy anything.
And it's like the backyard was, when spring came, that's where we practiced. And then what happened, this is how Salida Circus got built. Through social capital and through everybody getting enthusiastic about it and being like, I can build stilts. I have gymnastics mats I don't need. I used to do cheerleading when I was in high school. I could teach this, that, the other. So I had no intention or plan for Salida Circus to become something really big. I just wanted to make a living my own way. And I knew how to do that. I was like, I know how to get a stilt gig. So that was like, as far as I was concerned, that's what I was going to do. And then people just joined in, and then kids would get trained up, and I'd be like, let's go do a show at the Buena Vista Farmers Market. Let's go do a show at the Senior Center. And so little by little, it all just sort of naturally generated. And then, like I say, people started joining in, offering their homes, their backyards for practices. Then we partnered with the Boys and Girls Club. And then I knew how to get gigs. Like I said, I could call chambers of commerce around the state or festival organizations or whatever. So that was easy. And then I'd get paid for that, and I paid my performers, and we're all good.
Yeah. Right? Yeah.
Well, then I had a baby.
Okay.
And I didn't want to be on the road anymore. Excuse me.
Yeah.
By that time, I had a pool of performers that I could send out on gigs, and I had outreach workshops set up. So I would do the local stuff, and everybody else would be out on the road. And even with costumes and equipment, people would donate it. They loved the idea of a community circus.
Yeah.
And so honestly, it was just very organic. And I never wanted to be in debt either. So I was always like, no, we can do this much because we have this much money. And now, guess what? Now we can do this much.
Yeah. Just this organic growth.
Yes. And, Wendell Pryor, God love him, he tried to sit me down and create a business plan. And he's like, what's your financial forecast? And I was like, I don't even know what that means. So if you mean, how do I get, will I get
how am I going to get paid?
Yeah. Here's what I do. I go somewhere and I start getting gigs. And he said that I was an intuitive businesswoman, which made me feel better.
So you got kind of the green light to just do it your own way. I love that.
What I realized right away was two things. When I came here and I was like, I'm going to start a circus. And everybody was like, what? I said, I'm going to stop talking about it and just keep doing it.
Okay.
And then because I actually knew what I was doing, but there wasn't really a model for it.
Yeah.
I decided to stop talking about it as well and just keep doing it. And as an artist and as a creative person and not necessarily a math person in any way, shape or form, I actually do know how to run my business. Here's what somebody said to me that really helped. People can study business and know business, but they don't know your business. And I was like, that's so true.
That is true.
Nobody else is eating, sleeping, waking up, thinking about it, getting ideas. No one else is living it like I am.
Absolutely.
And so I was like, wait a minute, I do know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Even though vocabulary words that are thrown at me, I'm like,
you don't need the business jargon.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, no idea, but I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. And it's clearly working.
Right.
Yeah. So you kind of knew how to
followed my nose. Well, so
yeah, tell me.
Now,
I know. I'm curious about because it's grown so much.
It has grown so much. So as it was growing, that sort of combination of being open to people coming in with their ideas. That was what I offered, and then and then people would say, "Oh, I can do magic tricks."
Okay.
Right on. You have a gig in a week. Get your act together. So it sort of motivated them to get their act together.
Yeah.
And they were getting paid for it. So it was legit.
Yeah.
And then literally people started finding out about it and moving here to be part of the circus. And then we would do these international exchanges. So because having lived in Europe, I knew all these international networks.
Yeah.
So I was like, Salida Circus is going to become part of that. National social circus networks, international. So like we are part of the Cirque du Soleil International Outreach.
Oh, cool.
Thing.
Wow.
And like we were like awarded their Employees Choice Award in 2020, right before they went bankrupt. But we have partnerships all over the world.
Yeah.
So like some of our people have gone to like Turkey and Spain and England and Slovenia, Bethlehem, Palestine, England. Did I say that? So they've gone all over the place to work with these other international social circuses. One of our families this was interesting. I think this was probably 10 years ago, maybe 8 years ago, but a family was coming through on vacation and they go, we love this place. Man, I just wish there was a circus. Somebody overheard them and they're like, there is. And this family was a circus family from Bloomington, Illinois, that trained with like the father trained with Ringling Brothers and stuff. Like it was just this. Well, they became like one of our main performing troops, and then they got hired with Cirque du Soleil in the Middle East. Wow. Yeah, it's been an interesting ride.
That is how serendipitous. I feel like people are just drawn here, and that's and honestly, I didn't know much about. What does it mean to be in a circus? Like, what does a circus mean? I remember growing up in it, you think like Ringling Brothers and that, but like obviously, or Cirque du Soleil. I feel like it's like those two. But how would you describe a circus? Like, what does that mean to be in a circus?
So to be specific, we're a social circus. And that's a big difference between like, so Ringling Brothers would have been traditional circus with animals and blah, blah, blah. Social circus the term was coined by Cirque du Soleil. Okay. So it's animal free and it's about human potential. Okay. And it's about community building. So like Guy Laliberté, the founder of Cirque du Soleil, like he was like a street performer, the Blue Fire, and, had this wacky mind for business, at the same time. But he worked with street kids. Okay. And the idea of using the circus as a social inclusion tool. Oh, is what social circus is. And it's about working with like marginalized populations, working with everybody. Sure. But focusing on marginalized populations, making it accessible. That's like the big difference between a social circus and like a traditional circus is like you got to be born into the flying Lombardos to be in Ringling. Whereas here, you just got to come to my backyard. Yeah, and you'll teach them some skills. Exactly. And because the mission is personal development and community building, no pressure to become a professional circus performer. You don't have to be the high flyer. You can take it as far as you want it because our mission and our goals are personal development, peer group, peer support, social inclusion, and community building. So we have people who will come in for like, a 6-week course or, dabble in it here and there. And then we'll have people who like, whoa, this is my path. Yeah, and they can just follow that. Yes, and over the years we've bred, lots of like who are now professional circus performers. Oh wow! And you mentioned we were talking earlier about Elemental 5. So Joe Lobeck, he traveled through Salida, discovered there was a circus, got involved. He was with us for 5 or 6 years, and now he is he has his own training facility and he and his wife like perform and stuff. So people can take it as far as they want. Yeah. And then all the different offshoots of it. Yeah. To clarify, so Elemental 5 is a wonderful, I was just saying my son was at their ninja camp today, but another outlet for kids of varying ages to learn skills. So, and it's such a great resource for our community. And so as is the circus, which I love that the inclusion part, and how important is that for a kid to feel to build confidence and that sort of thing as they're growing up. Our workshops, just read one of our grant applications, right? We provide in a nurturing environment, non-competitive nurturing environment. So it's like personal best versus competition with others. Okay. And so our coined phrase is called circus spirit. Like all you got to do is bring your circus spirit. And what that is like an openness, a willingness to try. Okay. And so we will find a place for everybody. Okay. And everything is needed. Like, I'm like, if you run down the mats, like waving your hands like that with circus spirit, that's awesome. Yeah. You don't need to be like doing backflips or anything. Exactly. We'll find a place for everybody.
Yeah.
And so it's all about a belongingness thing. So with like things like Elemental 5 or other little workshops going on around the neighborhood, they can all be fed into Salida Circus performing troupe.
Okay.
So if any of those kids, like, Salida Circus is just it's just a breeding ground for like creative expression.
There you go. I like that.
And Salida Circus can be an outlet. One of many outlets. So
yeah, for kids. Because you guys are at all sorts of, you were just at the farmer's market like a week or so ago. I remember seeing you guys and doing the silks and and parades and
yep.
So yeah, I mean, you definitely have a big community presence here. And then, so how often do you guys travel then?
Oh, so the professional troupe, this is interesting too, because I think some people don't really know about that side of it.
Yeah, no, I only really realized the community event piece.
And so we actually, most of our activity now happens like around Colorado, New Mexico. We're now branching out into Wyoming and Nebraska. And overseas, like these international things. So we have a pool of, I would say right now, probably 25 professional performers that are based here, Colorado Springs, Denver, Durango.
Oh, okay.
We have, in Alamosa, we just started a satellite program there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So these people that are now part of the Salida Circus troupe, they've either like come through our program or they've seen us at a gig and we've, I want to be part of your troupe or whatever.
Yeah.
And so we have like units go out on the road. And we average between like 80 and 100 professional gigs a year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And this is for youth, right? Or adults?
So this is for adults. This is like the professional side.
I see. Okay. Which and you wouldn't be doing if you were
what we do with the kids is we bring them, the ones who have like really shown dedication and are on a pathway to professional circus performance, we'll bring them on the road with us.
Gotcha. So they can get some exposure and decide if that's what they want to do. Okay. Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. Yeah. I just think it's such a fun outlet. I was talking to a parent not that long ago and they were like, isn't it cool that Salida has a circus? I mean, it's just, it's such a unique thing to have. And we're a small community and, I feel like you could go a lot of directions with a small space. And the fact that we have so much here in the creative world is, I think, amazing.
So that's also why I think it's succeeded here is because, like I say, it was built on social capital.
Yeah.
And the community support, like I will... we say, I just had a power meeting at the frozen food section at Safeway. Like, I can go to the grocery store and then meet the principal of a school and be like, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
okay, we're going to do a 6-week workshop there.
That's awesome.
It is. There's like, I have no overhead. Like, it's everything that all the contributions that come to the Salida Circus go straight into programming.
Wow.
We don't have,
a facility or
we're still building one and that'll be a training facility one of these days. But I mean, everything goes right into programming because of like the low maintenance lifestyle here. Am I making sense?
Well, yeah. What do you mean by low maintenance lifestyle?
Well, what I mean by that is I can do this circus thing because I can do it in my backyard. And I can do it in my living room, or somebody's going to offer their ranch for a camp.
Okay.
And we can walk everywhere.
I see. Okay.
And the parks, like, we got a gig at a park.
Yeah, it's very easy to go to the park here.
So it's like, okay, kids, we have a show at Riverside Park on the August 24th, by the way, which is a real thing. And so everybody just makes their way down there. It's just, I don't know if I'm articulating myself very well, but rather when I was in Belfast and it was a city, it just requires different.
Well, the navigation of it.
And here it's like, everybody wander over to the community center.
Yeah,
and let's do a show.
I mean, once you get to Salida, it's just a breeze.
Right, because we live in Mayberry. Yeah,
exactly. I like the connection to Mayberry there. You mentioned Belfast, and I'm just like, we don't have to spend too much time on this because it's not necessarily related to Salida, but I think it's really interesting that you have that history of being in the circus. I mean, tell me a little bit about how you became part of the circus and then the Belfast piece.
But I will tell you I'll start with how it's related to Salida, because since I since I moved here, we've always maintained a connection to Belfast,
Oh, okay.
to the Belfast Circus. So we've hosted them here lots of times.
Oh, cool.
And our
I didn't
people
know that.
go there.
Nice.
So like every year, it's turned out every year over spring break in March, we send like, I don't know, last March, 14 people from Salida went to Belfast.
Wow, what a cool experience.
Right.
Yeah.
So we've maintained a relationship with them.
That's great.
I think the first exchange I did, brought them over, was in 2008 or something.
Oh, wow. That's
And
been a
those
while
kids
then.
are still friends with like, people here in Salida.
Wow.
So just the quick Reader's Digest version is I was 21 and I went on a year abroad, a year exchange.
Yeah.
To Queen's University in Belfast. To try to get back into college. My second college try. And I discovered they had a social circus. That's where I learned what a social circus was. And that circus was about bringing Catholic and Protestant kids together during the Troubles.
Okay.
And so there was this real social peace and reconciliation aspect to it, which really appealed to me. I had been in a kids circus when I was in third grade to about sixth grade in Fairfax, Virginia, where I grew up. So I had these circus skills, but I really didn't think I was like, oh, wait a minute. I know how to ride a unicycle, and I'm going to bring Catholic and Protestant kids together. Okay.
Who knew you could do that?
Juggling is going to bring priests to Northern Ireland. Okay.
Hey, sometimes you have to think outside the box.
Totally. So I dropped out of college and I joined the circus there.
I love that line.
As you do. I know. Oh my God.
You ran away and joined the circus. I love it.
In the middle of the Troubles in Northern Ireland, because why not?
As one does, right? Yeah.
And so I ended up staying there 12 years instead of one. And I became director of that eventually. And then I started my own company. And then what actually happened was we were on tour in New York and September 2001, and then 9/11 happened while we were there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so that was sort of a wake up. I'd been wanting to move back to the States and kind of be around family. And I was like, okay. So my sister was in California at the time, and she and I had performed as kids. So I was like, okay, I'm going to move there. We're going to start this company. It was called the Scarlet Sisters. And so we did that I was there for 5 years before I moved to Salida.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that's amazing. And then, so, I mean, having a career in the circus was not just something I thought was a thing, but apparently it is
now. It's a legit thing now. When I got into it, it was starting to get like legitimately certified as like a curriculum, like a real thing you could get a degree in, circus arts or social circus arts. And like my path to it, because it was sort of before all that, I don't know. I just followed my nose. I just was doing what I wanted to do.
Yeah, I love it.
It was a lot of it was like unpaid, and then it was like a little bit of paid, and whatever. It was just I was living the life.
Young, and it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And I was spending my time the way I wanted to, and in my mind, I was like changing the world one acrobat at a time. So like it's all good.
I mean. No, I think that sounds impactful. I actually visited Belfast years ago and did a tour. And, my husband has family in Ireland, but in Southern Ireland. But anyways, visited Belfast, and I mean I think a lot of Americans don't realize the Troubles. They don't even know what they're talking about. But that was a big deal in the 90s.
Yeah.
So that's. Impact. I mean, that was a very real conflict. So I know we're making light of it right now, but that does sound like it would be very impactful to help.
It was really, really interesting. I've written a show about it, which I'll probably do in like the new year.
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah. That was during the theater festival last year, right? Yeah. Okay. So tell us a little bit about that, and then we can segue into your theater.
Okay. Yeah. So in 2020, I think it was, I just got this like creative itch, and I was like, what is this? And then all of a sudden I started writing. Okay. And it was about my time in Belfast and how I ended up there. It goes 1989 to 1993. Okay. It covers that time period, and tells how I ended up there, how I became director, and then like little scenes of like working with the kids I worked with and all that. So it's called Something Great, Finding Myself in the Belfast Circus. Mm-hmm. And I've written part 1 and 2 and performed those here, New York, Belfast, whatever. And now I'm working on part 3, and I hope to get it done before I DIE. But it's like my goal is to have it done by March. I don't know if I will, but that's my goal. And
sounds like plenty of time.
Gosh, I know it sounds like it. It's
sure. So there's nothing involved with that, right?
I know, right? So I am taking part 1 and 2 back to Northern Ireland in March when we take a group. Already there's, I think, 12 people signed up to go to Belfast, Northern Ireland in next March for spring break. And so to segue into Colorado TINTS. So about 2018, I was finding I had more things to say to the world that didn't fit under the circus tent context. So I just was like, I've always written here and there. And so I had this like collection of poetry, and it was being staged. And I was like, this isn't a circus thing. This is like a theater, non-traditional space. Okay. Oh, I just started a company right there and then, right?
Okay.
So I needed a title for who was producing that. So TINTS was born in 2018.
Okay.
And it's, you know, my what really moves me is telling stories of under-recognized social change makers.
Okay.
And so it's ended up just being like, somehow we've ended up in this format of one-person plays.
Okay.
So we produced shows about like Harvey Milk, Mother Jones, Hedy Lamarr, Richard Durham. We're working on one on Dorothy Parker. We are currently producing a 2-person play about Matthew Shepard.
Okay.
And so I have a small team of writers, actors, directors, producers, tech people. And so my energy's going there.
Yeah.
In 2023, I stepped back from directorship of the Salida Circus. I have a new gal in charge, and she's really great, Laura Hart. She lives in Buena Vista.
Okay.
And so Salida Circus is a Chaffee County-wide
It's
program.
not just Salida. Yeah.
Exactly. So Laura's doing a really good job as director, which frees me up to put more time and energy into the TINTS projects.
Nice. So So you said the show about Matthew Shepard, and that's going to be playing during the Salida
Theater Festival. Salida Theater Festival, September 26th, and we've toured it through Denver. We're taking it to Fort Collins next week.
Okay.
Bringing it back to Salida in September. It's getting really good reviews. It's a very, very powerful, moving play. There's humor in it. It's uplifting. It's obviously a sad story, but there's a lot of hope in it. And you know, it's a call to action especially in these times in our country where there's a lot of division. Mm-hmm. So I hope everybody comes out and sees that September 26th at the Scout Hut.
Okay. Yeah. Well, no, I love it. You have so many fun things going on. So I guess like to wrap it up a little bit, I guess one of the reasons I wanted to interview you is I thought it would just be a fun little insight into the performing arts part of Salida. And so I guess with that in mind, do you have any, I don't know, insights for somebody who's either just moved here or looking to move here or even already here that...
Wow. Yeah. I would say that if you have an idea and you move to Salida, you can make that idea happen.
Okay.
And again, if you're willing to do it think outside the box, and make it a community-minded project, you'll succeed.
Okay, so the key is more community-minded, right? Yeah.
But because we're such a community-minded area, people will help you. If you have an idea and they buy into it, it'll suddenly be like a thing.
Yeah, and you'll have opportunities you didn't even realize were available. Yeah, I think that happens in so many different facets, not just in the arts scene, but in so many different ways in town. Totally. I see that with people here that, like, you know, if you're coming here, bringing an idea, bringing something positive here, I think people can rally. Yeah. That's amazing. I like that. Well, that's good. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story with us and for all that you do for the community. It's amazing. So if anybody wants to know about joining the circus in Salida, how would they find out about that?
They can go to our website, salidacircus.com.
Okay.
And call Laura Hart, 719-398-3060. If you're interested in Colorado Tints, you can shoot me an email at coloradotints@gmail.com.
And that's TINTS.
TINTS. Yep. And I do want to say with Colorado Tints that we are open to board members if people want to be part of our mission of bringing underreported stories to the public through theater. And again, you can reach us through Colorado Tints website or...
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Well, thank you everyone for listening. Again, I'm Monica McCarthy, a realtor who specializes in Salida and surrounding areas. If you're interested in connecting with me, whether it's to help you buy or sell a home here or about being on this podcast this season, all of my contact info is in the show notes. And if you like the podcast, please share it with a friend. You can learn more about Salida, Colorado and the real estate market here on my YouTube channel, Living in Salida, Colorado. Thanks for listening and take care.